Right, so because I'm worried about my mental health, I want to do a pick me up review of something funny and light-hearted because, yeah, because I'm depressed and I want to smile. So, I've been really getting into these Americans doing reviews on British programs, and some of the reactions are really good. So, I'd like to try and kind of find one where um, I haven't seen it yet, which is kind of hard because I do get on here regularly and I always kind of keep updated and I'm always commenting on things and stuff like that. But I do have a couple of people in the States that I follow who do reviews on the British programs that they've watched. And I have to say, over here in the UK, we've been exposed to a lot of American TV programs and movies and stuff. So we've had a lot of exposure over here. It's nice to see us finally reaching you guys over there and around the world as well, because there's people doing reviews all over, and it's so nice to see such positive reactions as well as some shocks as well, because on the British TV, after certain times, the viewing changes. We have things called watersheds. So between specific times, after a certain time, then it's adult viewing. So contents and language changes, and a little bit more free viewing and free swearing. There's a lot of swearing. Um, you are kind of allowed to swear on British television after a certain time, after the watershed. I think it's like 9 o'clock, something like that. 9 o'clock, after 9 o'clock, I think 8, 9 o'clock. Shouldn't really be any kids up at that time. They should all be asleep in bed anyway. That's the mentality. After a certain time, it's adult viewing. We need TV for adults to watch as well. It's a nice little balance. So, yeah, you guys are really loving the comedy shows over there. I've seen great reactions to programs like Would I Lie to You, 8 out of 10 Cats and Countdown. What's the other one? Mock the Week and stuff. And some of you have been absolutely amazing and really digging up some old English TV programs and reviewing those too. Like I've seen a lot of Fools and Horses, comedians and stuff. You're finding out some of our comedians over here as well, and you're loving them. You're really embracing them. You're really kind of like, whoa, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. But yeah, that's British humour. So it kind of makes me kind of laugh and kind of hear all this stuff with Meghan Markle and stuff like that, and she's going on about British tabloids and stuff. I mean, the British tabloids are nowhere as savvy, as savage as the British public and comedians can really rip you a new asshole, so to speak. So the one that I found by two gentlemen, I've watched them a lot over the past couple of years, 2 years I think, and I've watched them grow in subscribers, and I've seen them grow with, I've given them suggestions and stuff like that. Maybe one or two might have been hit and miss, but I've always been sincere with my my suggestions. That's the word, suggestions. So anyway, they've got a video here that they're reviewing. It's a travel guide. An American reacts to visiting England, the do's, the don'ts of visiting England. So they're doing a review of an American guy that's in England and what they think you really shouldn't do. So it's 20 minutes long. Let me see. I'm going to turn it down because I don't want you to hear their name.
Doctor's World. This is Visit England. The don'ts of visiting England.
I'm interested.
Yep. Because
I'm
keep
interested.
saying, like, one of these days we're gonna come and visit y'all.
Yep.
You'd be welcome,
but,
boys.
We would like to know what we're getting ourselves into.
And see if these hold up.
Yeah. Let us
I'm
know.
curious to
Hold
see
up.
how accurate this
Yeah.
is.
Let's go.
Let's go, man.
So let's go, man.
Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we are back in England for the things you don't want to do when you come to England. Now, the first don't I have for you is don't worry if you don't understand the English. You may have spoken English, or you thought you spoke English, since birth. You may think you're a native speaker, but don't be surprised if sometimes you might not understand people here in England because they do have various accents, but also some of the colloquialisms and
I mean, I kind of think it's kind of hypocritical for an American come over to England and say we have lots of different accents. I mean, you have 52 different states, each with an accent, as well as any migrants that are living within those states too, just like us. I'd say you guys have more accents than we do.
sayings and phrases they do use here sometimes can throw you off thinking, oh wait, is he trying to be mean to me or is that a joke? I'm not sure.
So up on screen they've got some English words and phrases taking the piss. Yeah, people, we say that. Like, are you taking a piss? Are you having a laugh? You having a bubble bath, mate? That's a Cockney rhyme for bath. You having a bubble bath? Or it could also mean having a laugh. Are you having a laugh? Bubble bath rhymes with laugh. So it's a Cockney thing. Taking the piss, yeah. Bob's your uncle. Bob's your uncle is half of the saying, actually. It's Bob's your uncle and Fanny is your aunt. It's kind of almost like a see you later alligator kind of thing. It's just a way of kind of saying job done. So like if you're doing work and stuff and you finished it and you completed it and you're like, there you go, Bob's your uncle. That's how the phrase is mostly used. Job done. And the second part of that is Fanny is your aunt. The next bit is gutted. That means when you're disappointed or if you've been let down, you end up being gutted. Oh, I'm gutted that didn't work out. Or oh, I'm gutted that fell through. That's kind of how it's used. Brolly. Brolly is just a shortened word for umbrella. Cheeky. Do you really need an explanation for cheeky? We're cheeky over here, okay? We're a little bit cheeky. Gaff. Well, gaff can mean a couple of different things. Gaff is like your house. It's like, over in America, I'd say, I think you probably would call it your yard. So you have like a slang term for it too. Back at the homies, or I don't know what kind of short phrase you guys would use. Back, you know, something to describe home, your home, back at your gaff. It could also be short for gaffer, which is a word for another word described for a boss as well. Leg it, make a run. Gobsmacked. Gobsmacked is when you have no words in response to something, when you're literally silenced. It's called gobsmacked. It's like somebody literally coming and slapping you in the mouth and I think that's probably where it's come from. Like, you know, when you're surprised and you're like, oh, and you put your hand over your mouth and you're like, oh, it's gobsmacked. That's your gob. That's it getting smacked. Minging. Minging is something not nice. So it can describe a person, it can describe food, it could describe a drink, it could describe a smell. It's when something isn't very nice. So like if oh, what can I use? It's mostly when something's not smelling nice as well. So like, for example, you wake up in the morning, you're not really paying attention, you make yourself a cup of coffee and you pour the milk in and the milk is off and you go to taste, minging. Or if something smells bad and that smells minging. I don't know where it's come from, but yeah. But those are what those phrases are. I just thought I'd read it because you can't really see it. I've paused it there for you. Can you see them? Yeah. Just those little bits there. Continue.
You know, the humor here can be very different, so don't...
Okay, so
The humour here is very different.
let's see some of these. Okay, first of all, the point he's making, like,
Let's see
we've
what they
definitely
have to
learned
say.
there are different accents
Yes.
throughout. For a few Al Murrays, a few bands, if we check.
So I think they're going to maybe try to give a little brief of what these are, but I've given you the explanation of all. So let's see what they're going to say about them.
Out. Yeah, I think that's definitely one. Let's just see a couple of these.
Taking the piss. That means
I'll go on the other screen here so
Oh, yeah.
y'all could see this.
taking the piss is like taking the joke.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Taking the piss. Bob's your uncle.
Don't know what that is.
gutted?
Like what is
What is that?
Bob's your uncle? He forgot a comment.
Brawly. Cheeky. Gaff. Leggett. Gobsmacked. Minging?
That's from the Oasis song,
Has to be.
right? The birds are minging, and then he had to change it to singing.
Yeah.
The birds are minging. The birds are singing. The birds are minging. That means he had ugly girls around him when he was singing
Has
that
to
song.
mean something. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know, man.
Yeah.
Just put the phrase and then definition.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Don't worry if you don't understand the English. The second don't be scared of the food. Now, don't expect to have a culinary masterpiece every
Why would you be scared of eating food? Don't be scared of the food. Don't be scared of the food. Why would you be scared of food?
day here, but don't be scared to try the food. I know a lot of people talk about England and it's kind of like, oh, there's cool
I
stuff.
have to say, he's showing the worst plates of things. I mean, he's showing traditional English food, but like, wherever this man's gone to eat his food, I wouldn't bloody eat there.
It's the countryside, but the food, oh my God. Look, I've been coming to England for about 20 years now, and I actually have seen the food getting better. There's tons of international food. There's tons of different restaurants throughout the country. But the thing is, the traditional English food can be pretty fun. If you go to a pub and you have, your steak and kidney pie or your shepherd's pie, or you go for a Sunday roast. I mean, it's Sunday tomorrow, and I'm kind of excited to hit the pub to have a Sunday roast with Yorkshire pudding. You'll be surprised that you might actually like the food here. So
A
don't be
Sunday
scared.
roast is like the equivalent of Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. It's like a meal that you have every Sunday. It's like a proper roast. Roasted chicken, roast potatoes, vegetables, your Yorkshire puddings with gravy on top. That's a Sunday roast. You get up early in the morning, you spend most of the morning preparing it all, then cooking it all. Come 3-4 o'clock, you have a big lunch, and then that's it. That's Sunday done. You're sitting in front of the television. Well, that's how it is in the UK anyway. Sitting in front of the television, what sports of the day, or cartoons, or your Sunday movies, whatever. That's a Sunday.
About the food, okay? It can work out just fine. Now
Okay. So, that's good to know that it's a crumpet, not a English muffin. We usually that's the sandwich bread.
Right, a muffin over here is like a cake, like blueberry muffin. Okay, so a crumpet is like a scone. A crumpet is, yeah.
On
Just-
an Egg McMuffin at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And we've heard about
We have Egg
the
McMuffin
proper
here.
English breakfast, a
Yeah.
fry up, and what else? Yorkshire pudding and Sunday roasts.
Yeah. I would never. To me, I never worry about the food
No.
anywhere. I haven't gotten this way by being picky.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I eat well.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter where I am.
Yeah. Exactly. You gotta find it. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's before going into this.
The variety of life is flavour and spice.
Whole rabbit hole of English and UK culture, like that's the stereotype that I associated with all people in the United Kingdom was fish and chips.
Yeah.
Like that's when you go to a British pub or an Irish pub, even in America, what is called English pub or Irish pub, they always have fish and
Always.
chips on the menu,
Always.
even if it's not all
Right.
of United Kingdom.
Yeah. Even if it's not right, like
Yeah.
like locally right,
Right.
they'll have it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we've got variants of kind of pubs and restaurants over here. So you have bars, which are more higher established. They sometimes do little snack parts on the tables and, more like knick-knack kind of finger food type stuff, like chips or nachos and stuff like that. maybe a little kind of sandwich things. But we have the good old boy pubs as well, we call them, the good old Irish boy pubs, and they do like the old kind of traditional style foods and stuff, and it comes out on an American sized plate, so you guys will be happy when you do come over here. You don't get a little small plate, you get a big one.
Let's dive in. What does he have to say?
Third don't I have for you is don't just stay in hotels. One of the quintessential parts of coming to England and driving around England and going through England is to stay in the B&Bs, the bed and breakfasts, because they have a whole network of B&Bs throughout the countries, in big city, in small towns, in villages out in the countryside. And it really is a quintessential part of visiting England, because what's cool is you're staying with a family and they're going to talk to you. They're going to give you the tourist information. They're going to give you the stories, the history. You're in their home and you see, wow, so this is how English people live. This is how things are. And it gives you this cool idea.
It kind of gives you a perspective onto how some people live. Now, these guys are pulling faces like, what? You're staying in people's houses? Often these are people with big houses that have the room. They tend to be more out in the country than more in central London. So the further out you're going to go, the more you're going to probably want to stay in a place like that. It's not like you are staying in somebody's house, but it's like more of a kind of cottage feel. You have your own private, like a hotel, but more of a cottage feel. So a little bit more calmer. There's not as many people. There's not so many people to fight over attention. Like it's a little bit more calmer. So if you're going out into the country kind of stuff, to relax and to kind of go for long walks and stuff, then that's great. Personally, for me, if I'm going somewhere, I'll want to, me being a woman as well by myself, I personally prefer to stay in a hotel, and I like to also ensure that I'm going all inclusive, so I know that my meals are all kind of covered too, and it's not an extra expenditure that I have to worry about once I get there. I usually like to make sure I have my breakfast and my dinner sorted, and then usually I kind of sod off out for the day and I take a little bits from the breakfast anyway, so kind of sees my lunch through too. So that's me. Plus I feel I've got the safety as well, security, because again, a woman by myself when I travel. So I personally prefer staying in hotels, but I suppose if I'm going to a country, this guy's been coming for 20 years, so I suppose if you're coming to a country again and again, you're not always going to want to see the same place again and again. You want to venture out, and eventually you're going to build up a little network and an understanding of what's kind of going on, and you're going to see a little bit more. So yeah, great for this guy for kind of passing on that information. I never would have thought that you guys in America wouldn't know about our B&B breakfast, our B&B networking, hoteling system over here. It's fantastic. We've got so many kind of different establishments, and they are all under approval too. So if there is one thing I would suggest to you to kind of watch, there was a program out here with this hotelier who would go into people's establishment and help them build up their business, and that was the hotel inspector, and I can never say her name properly, but it was Alexia Palant, I can't remember. But if you want to get an idea of what the hoteling kind of system is like around here and how it kind of works, then that might be a good program to get into, to just kind of see it for yourselves.
Yeah, and that's one thing I really want to say is, look, you're not staying at Ibis all the time, okay? Go stay in a B&B so you can really get a feel of the place. And one of the really best parts, you're going to some of these smaller towns and stuff like that.
So they just showed the plugs. In America, you got the 2-pin plugs, and over here we got the 3-pin plugs. So I don't think actually you need the adapter for your 2-pin plugs over here. I think you can just actually stick it in without the additional adapter. This is my Alexa Philips plug, so this controls, I plug something in and then I can control it from the Alexa for my Bluetooth. But these are the plugs that we have here. Now, you can still put things into the 2-pin parts without that third bit in there, and your plugs in America should still actually be able to use those. without any kind of hassle, depending on how they shaped, because you've got some that kind of slant downwards and some that just kind of go directly in, some that are circular and some that are just thin lined. So that's good to kind of make sure you kind of have these adapters. If you are staying in a hotel, some of them actually will provide this for you. I actually grew up working in hotels. My mother was a chambermaid as I was growing up, so I know that they also do provide you with a hairdryer. Some provide you with irons as well, plugs. Some can provide you with trouser pressers as well in your rooms. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in a hotel that I've worked in, so but yeah, you can get a lot of these kind of stuff while you're over here, so you can save yourself the money on that too, or just buy it when you get over here. A lot of the hotels will kind of sell this kind of stuff. They will have that in mind for you, so you know, save yourself having to carry more stuff over. Leave room in your suitcase for all the lovely things you're going to take back.
Sometimes your only option, but it's definitely the best option when you're here. And also, to tie it in with the second thing about the food, usually you get a full English breakfast with it, you know, with the...
There it is. There it is. The beans.
Got
the
hash
vibrant,
browns,
the
bacon.
Bacon. The tomato.
They're missing black pudding, and there's no pancakes on there too. So you've got hash browns on there. There's bacon, like half a tomato sliced, 2 eggs, and a shitload of beans. 1 sausage. How stingy is that place? 1 sausage?
And the eggs. And the
It
banger.
looks like Canadian bacon.
Yeah. I think one comment underneath the community post said that what we call back bacon, what they call back bacon, is what we call Canadian bacon.
Oh, okay.
So maybe that's it.
Got it.
Let us know in the comments.
Huh.
And remember, 50K, we do a live stream of us making a full English breakfast.
Yes. For better or worse.
the black sausage, and the bangers, the normal sausage, and the beans, and the toast, and the eggs, and the fried tomatoes, and mushrooms, and all those things. And it just feels like a really special
That wasn't fried
experience.
tomato.
Now, the fourth...
Now, to touch
No
on
black
that
pudding.
subject of B&Bs, bed and breakfasts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. What's your feeling on
Hell
staying?
no. Hell no. Like, I would do it if I could rent the whole thing, but not room up with someone.
Right.
Like
right.
No.
in a house that someone.
See, that's where you've got to be really careful as to what information you're providing up. You're not sharing with anybody. It's literally, I mean, you really have to look into it to understand it. It's like, they're kind of almost like, they're massive houses. There's plenty of space. It's almost like a country cottage. It's almost like a country estate kind of thing, some of them will be. I mean, there's so many different variants. There are ones that are smaller, that you are a little bit more close, and then there are ones that are bigger. So yeah, this guy, you have to really look into it, guys. Honestly, I promise you, you're not sharing rooms with anybody. That would be a hostel. Stay away from hostels. That would be like a backpackers kind of thing where you are sharing rooms. It's very kind of dorm orientated kind of looking with hostels, which I'm sure you guys must have over there too, right? No? Yeah, you're not sharing rooms over here.
Living in.
Yeah.
Well, now I don't know how it would fly.
I don't know. I know there's a couple of people that have messaged us on Patreon and be like, "Hey, come stay with us." We appreciate that.
Thank
we
you.
are we're definitely I don't know if we're too old for that. Like, we kind of need our privacy.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You-
I don't know. Like, okay. If you came at me with that question 10 years ago, fuck yeah.
Couch surfing, like
Yeah.
it's
No, it's
Part of
not.
life.
yeah.
Like,
You have all the amenities
but
that you would in a
now,
hotel.
I don't know how that climate has changed as far
Yeah.
as the Airbnb with this current thing going on.
Yeah. At the time recording, it's still going on.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know, man. Let's see what
Yep.
these got to say.
The don't we have is don't be scared to drive. I know they drive on the left-hand side of the road here, which can be a little confusing.
Do you know why we drive on the left-hand side of the road? It takes us back to the days where they used to have their, I guess, medieval version of Olympics with the jousting. So Heath Ledger, when he did A Knight's Tale with the sword fighting and that. So obviously most people are right-handed. So in jousting, when they were on the horse, they would hold the joust on the right-hand side, so on approach. So that's why we've always driven on the left-hand side. That makes sense, because you're on the left-hand side of the joust and we've always stayed it. We use that same kind of common system on stairways as well. So in most buildings, in most schools, going on the underground and stations, you'll notice that going down is on the left and coming up is on the right. Probably not a lot of people have actually paid any attention to it, but once you come over to the UK, when you know what you're looking for, you do spot those similarities. And it's the same on stairs as well. People go down on the right and come up on the left. They don't realise they've done it. They've been brainwashed since childhood to do it. So, but we do.
Are off-putting for travelers when they come here, but the thing is, public transport is really kind of expensive here. Taking the train throughout the country, oh my god, it is expensive.
Another tip for anyone travelling into the UK: get an Oyster card. The moment you arrive, go down into the train station. You'll spend £5 on an Oyster card. By default, you are supposed to put another £5 on top of it, so you're paying £10 in top. You're paying £10 in total. Now what this card does is it actually discounts your travelling. So if you're paying by cash or you're buying your tickets on the day, it's going to be more expensive. If you buy yourself an Oyster card, you top it up for as much as you need. Usually it costs about, even with the Oyster card, it can cost up between £8 and £10 for your travel throughout the whole day. But it means that you can get on any train, any buses within that London district. Once you get up to that cap of the thing, you still have, you can go on as many times as you want and you're not paying. So you could pay £10 for the day and get on 20 buses. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? The other beauty of that is, come the end of your stay, you can actually get that money. If you have any money left on your Oyster card, you have to keep topping it up, because obviously the money will go depending on how long you're here for, but you can reclaim that money before you go as well. And well, what's left on the Oyster card, you can't get the money back for the Oyster card itself, that £5, but you can keep the Oyster card as a nice little momentum. And if you come at the right time, and I will say, the Jubilee year, I'm expecting that the Oyster card will do a special a limited edition one, as they did for Meghan Markle and Prince William, and the last Queen's birthday that they did a couple of years back. They did special commemorable ones. So if you're coming over for 2022, that might be a nice little memorabilia for you to keep for your stay here too. So yeah, I get what he's saying. It can be really expensive to travel around London. So, but if you know ways to cut the costs, then yeah.
So you're going to want to rent a car, because you can get to all these little tiny villages and see the stately homes and, you know, that Downton Abbey stuff you want to see.
You're only going to want to rent a car if you're going out of London. If you're coming into London, honestly, save yourself the money. You're here on holiday. You're coming to have a look around. Believe me when I tell you, somebody from the UK, from somebody from the London who's spent my entire life here, things are a lot closer than you perceive them to be. And you just need to feel confident to go for a walk and go down some of those roads and maybe get lost once in a while, you know. But there's always people around. Number one rule when you go on holiday, if you see somebody with a dog, they are the best person to ask for directions.
You can go and see those things with your own car. So don't be afraid to rent a car here. However, I will warn you, when you first driving on the other side of the road, it is a bit, you know, off-putting. You're like, oh my, am I going the right way? And then when you hit your first roundabout, good luck, my friends. Good luck. But don't be scared to drive, because you want to drive throughout this country. And if you are going to...
The rule with the roundabout is the person on the right has the right of way. So if you're in the lane here and the cars are coming from your right and it's not clear, they've got the right of way on the road. You have to wait for it to clear, and then you can go. But then obviously, if you're on the right hand side of somebody on the left coming out of another junction bit, you've got the right of way. So the person to the right has the right of way. The other thing with driving, I would have to warn you, it's probably safer driving in central London than it is driving out of central London. You've got a lot of little small country lanes and stuff, and the locals within those areas do drive a little bit recklessly down those roads, and it can be dangerous. Even for us that live over here, we know that it can be a bit dangerous out there. Some of them come around really quickly. The other thing I would say to you, if you are travelling out of London to the outskirts and around, if you're driving, try to avoid driving at night. It can be quite scary, and if you're not comfortable and familiar with driving on the wrong side of the road to you, then I would avoid trying to be out at night when it's less visible for you to see what's coming ahead of you. Just, that's my kind of, I can drive. I don't have a car. I don't drive a car. I can drive. I choose not to, because I know how to get everywhere in London without a car.
Driving, I do recommend getting the GPS for you, because when you're driving the other side of the road, you're going to be so concentrated on that sometimes you'll miss the turnoffs and stuff. And with all the roundabouts and everything, GPS just a lot easier to deal with. I'll just tell you that one right now. Another thing that kind of deals with that other side of the road driving is, don't forget to look right when you cross the street. Look, they're driving on the left side of the road.
The beauty in central London, which he's showing here, is on the road. When you get to the curb of the road, pavement, the curb, sidewalk, whatever you call it, we actually have markings on the streets to tell you, to remind you to look right or to look left, to remind you in the direction. And that's because we are a tourist town, so we're conscious of that. You might also notice, which I can see here on the curbs, there are bumps. These are for blind pedestrians, and there are different types of bumped roads, and the bumps are actually to pre-warn anyone blind and the type of road that they are approaching. So there are different types of bumped roads. Just in case you're wondering what they are, because some people hate walking on them, but they are there for a reason. They're there to assist those that with less visual capability. Also on the side of the road, you'll notice on our street lights, you'll notice the little walkway box that you push. There are also little buttons underneath those, little nozzles. Those are also for blind people to hear. So on some of the roads, there are ones that make noise, that beep, so that it's a sound stimulant to let them know that they are free to walk. But some of them on the box, on the side box where you push the button to activate it, there is also a little round nozzle underneath that when it's safe to, it's mostly stationed, and then when it's safe to cross the road, it actually spins around. So a blind person can hold on to that, or a deaf person can hold on to that, and it tells them when it's safe for them to cross the road.
The cars come from the right,
Incredible,
not
right?
the left. And I can't tell you, I've been in York, I've been here in London, I've been in Cambridge, Brighton, throughout most of the districts around this country. And tourists from everywhere in Europe and everywhere around in the U.S., they come walking in and they look left, and the car's coming this way, and they're like, beep, beep, oh my God. And you have that almost death-inducing moment. So don't forget to look right when you cross the street. Remember, it's right, left, right, because the cars are coming from that way, because they drive on the left-hand side. So please don't get killed.
I don't know
Okay,
about anywhere else in the world, right? But I was taught to check both sides of the road before I cross. Right, left, right, and then cross. I was taught to check that side, then that side, then that side again. So shouldn't you always check, just in case?
Don't forget to look right. Now
All right. First of all, stand by for technical difficulties.
Stand by. Holy shit. It is dark.
It is. Now it's
There we
light.
go. Hey.
So a lot to unpack with that driving bit.
How do you unlearn?
Well,
I feel like it's a massive curb.
yeah.
I would not. Like, the fact that you guys are in a car going to St. Martin
Yeah, yeah,
blew my mind.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my god! I'm like, what? No, I just
And we definitely rented a GPS just to get around because our phones weren't working.
Yeah. Oh my god.
We had but he said in one of those little text things like that the train isn't too expensive for same day.
Yeah.
So, but I couldn't get over looking right
No.
coming down the street and also stick shift like.
Yeah.
It's a.
That's all right.
I do not drive stick shift.
That's okay. We have automatic cars here too. I mean, we're not in the dark ages.
It's it's another element.
Yeah.
To moving around.
It makes me laugh, right? Because my family's from Portugal, specifically Madeira, which is close to Morocco. And for many years, my cousin was under the perception that London was covered in fog all the time because of all those old movies of foggy London. And in all honesty, we don't really get that much fog over here. Like, it might pump up once every so often, depending on the climate, but we don't get any fog over here. So it's funny how people's perceptions are still kind of back in the day. And it's not like, you know, there's no films of London today out there. I mean, Fast and Furious, when they did the London kind of thing, I mean, did you see any horse and carts? Did you see cars on the road? I promise you, some of them are automatic.
If I go, when we go there, I'll leave the driving to drivers there.
Yeah. We'll hire a driver.
Uber.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be a pretty penny, but it's going to be cheaper than sending my body back to this country.
Yeah,
Depends on what you want to do when you come over here, really, isn't it?
Next don't we have for you is don't think that London is England. London is a great city. It's an international city, but it's not all what England is. It's like saying, I went to New York, so I saw America. No, it's not like that. Or I went to Berlin and I saw true Germany. No, Berlin, New York, London, they're very cosmopolitan cities with people from all over. It's just such a cool melting pot that London isn't just England. There's so much more to see out there. So definitely get out and explore the countryside, because I'm serious. You go to York, you'll fall in love. You'll go to the beach by Brighton or see the cliffs of Dover or go to, go to Cheshire and all the kinds of cool
Lake
places.
District.
You're going to have a great time, but realize that, look, England is not just London. Get out and explore this country. And kind of also going with that, remember, England is not Britain. They're two different kind of things. Britain makes up, Scotland, Wales, England all together.
Northern
so if you
Ireland.
see people that are English, they're different than British overall. A Scotsman will be upset if you call them an Englishman, but will be probably okay if you say they're British.
So would an
just
Irishman.
know that one. Don't mess up the British English with people around here, okay?
They don't consider themselves English. They consider themselves British citizens because we all have the same kind of passports, but they're not English. A Scottishman is a Scot, and Northern Ireland is Irish. The only ones that don't really seem to have a bug on their bonnet about it is the Welsh. I recently read an article and I actually kind of felt, you know what, they're true. It's true. Wales is the forgotten cousin in some respects. It doesn't complain. It doesn't kick up a fuss. It's not, in there with political views and stuff like that, in comparison to Scotland, who have now created their own government as well. So Scotland is its own kind of, I suppose in a way it's like in America, where you have different states that have different laws within their own districts kind of thing. So it's very much like that. Scotland has its own rules and own laws and stuff that they did, and they fought for that right. We gave them we didn't give them independence. They fought for independence and won the independence. That was a good few years back now. I suppose it looked like in the past 10 years they won that. So yeah, they're an independent kind of almost country, I suppose, in a way. Still connected, but independent. Northern Ireland, I won't get into that. But yeah, none of them consider themselves English, but British citizens.
The seventh thing I want.
All right. So I definitely learned that from doing this
folks.
channel. Is that
Apple.
England is not all of United Kingdom.
Yes.
Scotland, like when we did that poll,
Yeah.
you were just saying, some people got triggered. From
Yeah,
that.
man.
Oh my God!
How dare you?
It's kind of like saying Chinese is the same as Japanese, or Spanish is the same as Latinos in South America, or Portugal is the same as Brazil. They speak kind of the same language, but they're totally different people.
It's like, well, we don't know.
We didn't know. Like
We don't try to just step on toes.
Well, if you don't know,
No,
now you know.
Smash 'em.
we sure do. If you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Oh man.
But I
It's like when people call Canada America. How's that? Yeah? Does that make sense? Or American Canadian. Yeah, you don't like, I'm not Canadian, I'm American. I'm not American, I'm Canadian. It's the same kind of, no. You're connected as a continent, but you're independent. Canada is Canada, America is American, South America is South America. Does that make sense?
that makes sense. Like you go outside London, prices drop, and yes, we have seen throughout this whole channel, the England and the United Kingdom in general is more than London.
Yeah.
It's like calling New York all of America, or
Yeah.
LA, or Chicago, or Miami, or whatever.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of what he's saying makes sense. It's an international city. It's a hub. It's been a hub for thousands and thousands of years.
Oh yeah. He's mentioned Cambridge, York, Brighton, which we've learned is like the beach town.
Yeah.
Like
And Cheshire.
and they mentioned Manchester
Yep.
on that one. Good, big love for Manchester.
Yep.
So let's dig in.
Let's do it.
I want to say, don't forget your P's and Q's, i.e., don't forget your politeness and knowing how to stand in the queue here. Because people in England are extremely polite, sometimes to a fault. Like, I feel like I've said sorry enough, but I feel like I need to say sorry more. And you'll get sorries if someone bumps into you and stuff. They'll say sorry, excuse me. You need to do the same thing. So when you come here, make sure you do bring your manners. That's why we all wish, I wish my boys could grow up to be an English gentleman. Now, not everywhere are they English gentlemen. I mean, go to a pub late at night with beers going around, you'll be like, what? There's no English gentleman here. Yeah, there is that. But in general, manners are a very important thing here, so make sure you don't forget your manners. But also, don't queue jump, i.e. don't butt in line. They do not like that here. They are very much, we have our line, you stay in your line, you do not mess with the line.
Bitch, who do you think you are that you're jumping in front of me? I'm sorry, your life is not important to me that you're going to jump in front of my day. You get back in the fucking line, mate, and wait your turn. You're damn right we'll kick off if you try to jump a queue. We don't tolerate that shit over here. Everybody takes their time. Everybody gets their turn. No queue jumping over here. It will kick off hard, I tell you. And if my reaction to just talking about it doesn't give you an indication as to what I would do if you were to do it in front of me, then try it and you will see. And I'm not the only one. Believe me when I tell you I'm a reasonable person. You do get the odd person, like, you know, if somebody comes along and sees that you've only got one or two things, like, do you want to go on, love? Let's go on. It's all right. I'm going to be here a while with what my mass shopping or whatever I'm queuing up for. But I see people are courteous in that way. In terms of politeness, yeah, we can be overly polite. I think we're in this habit of just saying sorry all the time. But it's also polite soz. It's not like a sorry as in, oh, I'm backing down. It's like, oh, sorry. You know, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Is it better than just to be ignorant? Is it better to be ignorant or arrogant? I just can combine the two together and just walk off and have no feelings towards somebody else's day. Like, that's the kind of shit that affects people's mental health.
To the end of the line. So just know that one, because That's one thing.
Do you
I
see
think
this
where
queue?
most
Then
of the
fucking
tourists
join
get
it.
upset is the line butting and stuff, because Germany, it's like a mad rush for a door or something like that. Here, we'll wait in line. It'll be fine. Let the people come out of the tube. We'll go on the tube. People get out of the train. People get in the train. So you do have that. So don't forget your manners, okay? Your P's and Q's.
How can you get in if there's a big bunch of people trying to get off the train and you're trying to get in the train? Nobody's getting off. Nobody's getting on. The announcers in the train station say, please stand aside and allow passengers off the train. As soon as they can come off, you can get on. That makes sense, right? Otherwise, you're just fighting against each other. Like, if it doesn't work like that anywhere else in the world, then like, and there's problems on your system, that's why.
Don't forget those. And the eighth thing you...
China, with the way they force, like they push them on the train, that can't be safe, right? The way they has anybody ever watched those YouTube videos where you're seeing they've got people on the platform to assist pushing people, like they're there with their foot pushing them on, like squeezing the door closed, tucking the back of their suit shirt in there. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
All right, so yes, manners, gotta have them. I mean,
yeah, well,
also,
shit. Like, anytime you travel outside the United States, you gotta think of yourself as like some sort of...
I wouldn't even say it's manners. It's just like, if you're a decent person, you naturally have manners anyway, right? You acknowledge what's going on around you. Somebody hands you something, you say thank you. If you're asking for something, you say, excuse me, would you mind? Thank you very much. It's courtesy. It's not even about manners. It's just bloody courtesy.
right, you are a guest in that particular country, and you also represent that country too. Like, we don't want. I don't want to. If I were to go to the United Kingdom or anywhere in the world that's not the United States, or just outside of Maryland or North Carolina, like I would, have the mindset of I don't want to. Other people to think badly of me.
I want to be invited back.
I want to be invited back, and don't want to think of Americans as rude or Marylanders as rude, even though that's. But anyway, yeah, I get that.
But I mean that's just be a good human.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something. My opinion on this. Those that can afford to travel great distances like America or Australia usually tend to be arrogant people because they're in jobs that they can afford to travel to far off places. And those that are humble, respectful, decent people, the hard-working people that clean the toilets and change your toilet paper, they can't afford to go. Those are the nice people that will be polite and stuff. Those are the people you want to send on holiday to represent your country. But does that make sense to you? Does that make sense? I kind of think that's how my perspective of. I think those that can afford to go on those holidays, they tend to be in jobs where arrogance is part of their everyday routine anyway. And those are the ones that leave people with that kind of stigmata of arrogant American people. I know you're not arrogant American. I've seen so many lovely, beautiful people on YouTube. There's so many people that I've enjoyed watching, that I agree with their opinions. I maybe disagree with their opinions, but overall they come across as decent people. However, the people that I tend to see, no disrespect, from America are working businessmen that just naturally have arrogance about them anyway. So other than that, the only kind of nice, decent Americans that we probably get over here are the retirees that are kind of in their later stage of their life, and they're here to kind of just stroll around and just enjoy their, they're nice and they're kind of high and chatty, a little bit more talkative and relaxed, and yeah. And then you get the group of the young kind of, what's it you call it over in America when you have your summer holiday kind of thing? You have, everybody goes on that summer trip. You get a couple of people Americans that have come over here, and the groups of the young kids that come over and wreak havoc. Like I said, my mother worked in hotels. So I really kind of characterize people on what I've really kind of categorized countries by how I've seen their country people treat hotel rooms, and I've grown up with that. So Americans are incredibly messy. Everything is everywhere. Like from day one, the suitcase is emptied and all the clothes are around the room. I have personally found in my American guests that have stayed. Those are the young kids, though. Those are the young kids.
If you're gonna travel somewhere, where you better be a good human, because you don't have a lot of backup. That's how I see it. Yeah, it's like when you go abroad, that's not the place to burn bridges. Oh no. No. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway,
and then I mean, we've seen it in like when they get drunk or when they are at a football match.
Football? Yeah, don't be saying that.
Yeah, don't be saying that now. All those manners go right out the window.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's like daytime visiting.
I mean, like, if you're an American, don't even bring up the topic of football. Just don't. Just I urge you just to avoid it. Because it will kick off the argument of, well, Americans don't even use their feet to play football, so why call it football? American football. You don't even use your feet. But then again, Americans will come over and start saying, well, it's not, why do you, it's soccer. Well, yeah, we call it soccer over here too. For many, many years, we called it Soccer Sunday. We used to have a TV program called it soccer. But we play with our feet, so that's why we call it football. To us, I think Americans, your American football is more like rugby. For WIS. Rugby with shoulder pads, and it's like a combination of rugby and football, but more with rugby rules. So I think that's where kind of English kind of like, you're not even playing with your feet. How can you call it football? The only thing you're doing with your feet is running. Why don't you call it cross running?
Those are two different.
But then I have massive arguments with my ex-boyfriend about football as well. I used to watch a lot of programs. I love my criminal kind of programs, and he would be like, how can you watch these crappy programs? It's just repetitive. It's like there's somebody dies and they've got to work. I'm like, well, you can't really talk. You watch football each weekend where it's 22 guys running up and down, kicking a ball into. How is that not repetitive? So believe me, there are arguments on all sides with this one. But as an American, I would advise you not to bring up the topic of football.
Oh, yeah. There's two different countries.
Oh, yeah.
Places to visit.
All right. I think he's got one more here.
Let's do it.
Don't forget when you come here is a raincoat. Now, I've been here and I've been very lucky. This is my 4th day here, and there's still no rain. So, yes, it does happen that it doesn't rain here. It's not like it rains every day in England, okay? But I will say, if you are going to come here, even in the summer, bring a light waterproof jacket, but more importantly, bring waterproof shoes, because that's where you're really going to get wet, because you can buy an umbrella for like 5 pounds, 10 pounds, no problem. So, but just don't forget that waterproof jacket, because you will eventually need it, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. I've been very lucky this time. I've been coming here for 20 years, and this is probably the second time.
He's probably been coming here for 20 years around the same time every year, the rainy season. It doesn't really rain that much in the UK. Like, it's not rained today. It didn't rain yesterday. Didn't rain the day before. There's no plan for it to rain tomorrow either, or for the rest of this week.
I've actually had like nice weather the whole time, so it's awesome when you have it, but it doesn't always happen. And the 9th don't I have for you is don't forget to go to the pub. This is definitely a pub culture place. Go and have your pint, enjoy the talking, the people, all kinds of.
Listen, if you come to this country, you don't go into one of our pubs, you better not come back. What? It's definitely a must do to go into the pubs. I'd like to see you try and even walk past them, because like there's way too many pubs. There used to be an ongoing joke that there was just as many pubs on the corner of the shop as there was a sweet shop on every corner. So like a sweet shop was where you get your milk and your bread and stuff.
And you will enjoy it. So I hope that helps you know what don't to do when you are here in England. If you want to learn more, 5 things you love and hate about London, 10 things that'll shock you about England, check us out on our website at waltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions, and we hope you have a great time here in England. And, well, don't forget to have a good time.
Okay. All right. So, all right, Walter. Well, Walter.
I don't think you won't have a good time over here. I think you'll quite enjoy yourself over here. We are definitely party kind of people. We definitely like a drink. Something that we've been struggling with the whole COVID and stuff. But yeah, you would not be able to come over to this country and not go into a pub. I mean, I think it's probably something that we're very well known for. It's like coming over here and not getting on a bus, getting on one of the old route masters or something, or getting on one of the tourist bus with the open tops and stuff, or, you know, there's just things that you do when you go to different countries and stuff. For America, for me, it would be the hot dog. I'd have to go to one of those hot dog stands and just get, you know, whatever it is, just add it all on. I want to try a hot dog. I'd love to go to a baseball game. I'm not sure about American football, but I'd love to go to one of those sporting events because they just look so fun. Yeah. What else? What else is there something? Give me some ideas of what would be a classical do you've got to do if I was to come to America. Depending on where you are, it's going to change, obviously. So, I mean, like, you wouldn't go to Orlando, Florida and not go visit Disneyland, or, you know, what's that, underwater SeaWorld or something like that. You know, that's what Orlando, Florida is mostly about, right? Most people know that's Disneyland. So you wouldn't go to Disneyland and not go see Mickey Mouse.
This has been very...
So I've really enjoyed this one. I've probably gone on much longer than I was expecting to. I thought maybe I might go on 10 minutes more than what the actual video was, but clearly I'm a rambler, so I'm sorry if it's a bit long, but I hope it's been helpful and given you some tips for travelling over to the UK. Let us know if there's anything you'd like me to do a review on, any kind of trips that you're planning coming over to the UK, and any suggestions that you would like, any kind of money saving tips that I can suggest to you when you're coming over in terms of travelling, like the Oyster card. Again, I've lived in London all my life, and everything is extremely close by. It just seems far when you're not kind of familiar with things, but I would probably be a great tour guide one day. People probably might not like me because I'd probably take them for a really long walk, but you know, I'd take you wherever you wanted to go. There's so much around London that is typical tourist spots, and then there are some amazing little hidden treasures that aren't really that are off the beaten route, so to speak. So yeah, give us some suggestions of anything you'd like a review, or any tips and tricks that you'd like to know. I'm more than happy to share them with you. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please click like to let me know that you've enjoyed it. You don't necessarily have to subscribe, but if you would like to come back and see any kind of further videos that I do, then you'd have to subscribe. And if you would like to get notifications of the videos when they're coming online, then hit the notification button. These are all up to you. They're your choices. You don't have to do them, but I would welcome you to come back, and I would love to have more, add more contents to my page. I'm just kind of struggling with what to put up right now, and that's where I need your help. So it would be appreciated. Okay. I hope to come back soon. Take care. Bye.